Alexis Raphael and you're watching the Guestlist Network.
What's happening? Good. I like bullshit. It's good. All we need to do is just cut in this fucking thing.
Welcome to Guestlist Network. I'm Joe the Groove, and I'm here with Alexis Raphael. How you doing, bro?
Hey, I'm good, man. You?
I am brilliant. Just want to get back to the beginning of where your journey in music started. What were you listening to like when you were a child?
Well, I suppose like I was listening to my parents' old soul and jazz records. They had a lot of vinyls, so I used to play them. And then when I was about 10, I started listening to rave music, which was like hardcore back then. It was things like Future Sound of London, Papua New Guinea, that was one of the bigger tracks back then, stuff by the Ragga Twins, things like that. It was around 1990, so I was really young getting into it. Okay. And from there it kind of progressed through, but that was the early kind of dance music that I was listening to. Wow,
so yeah, okay, right. So that, I mean, I've known you for quite a while now. I didn't really know. Okay, that was the essence of where it kind of started from. Because I mean, that is, you know, obviously the same time for me as well. That's what kind of spawned my kind of like, okay, music is deep, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just had this natural love of that music. I don't know what it was. I was like 11 years old. I was buying these rave CDs, and then that progressed to like tape packs from the raves. So you'd have a tape from each of the DJs, and then that kind of went on to vinyl a little bit later. So I started buying the vinyl because I wanted to have the music. The music evolved into like early drum and bass, which was jungle back then, and that lasted a few years. And then the house and garage kind of crept in, started listening to more house music. I was given a crate of records from like the late 80s, early acid house stuff, and that kind of started my love of house music. Right. So that's the beginning for me, really.
Can you remember which house track at that time, which was the one that kind of made you?
Yeah, it was Frankie Knuckles' Tears.
Okay, right, okay, yeah, I'm on that.
That was the first one, really. And Strings of Life, Derek May. A lot of that kind of early stuff, French Kiss. Yeah, I've still got those vinyls right by my decks at home, so they got prime position.
Okay, and what kind of kicked off things for, like production-wise? I know that you obviously have a musical background. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, well, I played the piano, so I was putting piano lessons like quite young. My dad said to me, you know, you'll thank me one day, and I actually thanked him last year. So yeah, I was starting playing the piano from like the age of 5. I was playing bits, and that continued right until I was about 16, 17. Yeah, that was my first introduction to actually playing music and stuff like that. So yeah, that was the beginning of that, really.
Okay, so, you know, some people start on like Logic and that kind of thing. Kind of, what made you want to kind of start actually producing the music? From playing the piano is one thing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, when I kind of like dropped out of school a little bit early, not that early, but
just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit early, and then I kind of went to I was doing landscape gardening and all sorts of jobs at the time, and you know, my love was music. I was playing pirate radios back then, so yeah, I was playing all over like North and East London, and the next thing for me was let's try and make some tunes. So I went and did a sound engineering course, music production, and that was a long time ago now. That was like 10 years ago, and basically the truth is I couldn't knuckle down. I was too busy partying and going to raves and doing whatnot to really put the time into it. And so it's only like 2 years ago that I've really knuckled down into the actual production, you know. I took a break from DJing and everything for years, did a degree in economics, which is like totally the other way. And like, I'd go into university with a bag of records and the Financial Times in the other hand, which was a bit of a clash. But in the end, I kind of like finished that and got on with the DJing in London. As you know me from London, I've been doing this here for a few years now. So yeah, that's the path I took.
Everyone takes that path, but right about now, it's like you're kind of getting hot property, right? That's a nice little smile. You might as well.
Things are going all right. Things are going all right. So I'm happy. You know, like I said, the production started 2 years ago. I've been lucky enough to get signed to some good labels, had some good music out. So yeah, at the moment things are good. Things are good. So I just got to keep putting the work in, and hopefully things will continue the way they have started.
Kitchens and bedrooms. Have to definitely mention that on Lower East, that really did well, which had a host of really good remixes. How did you actually get linked up with Jamie, and how did Jamie, how did you get signed there?
Crash, my party, which I run with Cozzy D in London. We started that. At the time, we started it only in like February 2010 was the first party, but at the time we felt that there was a lot of music not really being showcased that should be showcased on a Sunday in London. Sunday daytime should be fun, and a lot of it was very deep and very serious. So we were like, let's do a party where we mix it up. We'll play some funk, some soul, some boogie, whatever, mix it right up, and also house music that takes a bit more of an influence from all that. And that's kind of how it started, Crash. And from there we started booking artists that were making the music that we liked, and one of those artists was Robert James. And that was kind of before he'd really blown up as a big artist. And then we booked Lee Foss, I think 2 months later. And so I met those guys, and Spaceship was a track I made, which I sent to Lee, and Lee emailed me back. I think it was like a month later, and he said, yeah, Jamie wants this track for a new compilation. And I was like, yeah, it was Hot Waves, and I was like, well, right, okay, well, see,
we'll have it.
yeah, of course. Cool. So I really loved the whole Hot Creations thing. All the music they were doing for me was really inspiring and stuff. So I was really happy to be asked to put a track on the compilation, and that's kind of how that started, really.
What else have you got going on? I know you've got a new EP dropping on Hot Creations in February. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that's because after I got the track signed for the compilation, I was kind of like, right, I need to get an EP done. Right. And I was speaking, yeah, because that's an EP showcases the artist. So I was chatting to Richie Ahmed about that. He does a lot of the A&R for the label, and I kind of knew him on a personal level anyway, and I said, look, this is something I really want to do. And I worked hard at getting some tracks done, and luckily one of the tracks I did called Into the Light, sent it to Jamie, and he got back to me the next day saying that he loved it and he wanted to sign it. And I was like, all right, but I had to get a B-side done. Right, so that was the pressure, Yeah,
so the pressure started again then.
It's Hot Creations, their releases are strong, A and B. There's no B-side that's weak. So I had to get another track done. Otherwise, they would have just put it on, I don't know, Hot Waves or whatever, but they wanted it for Hot Creations. So I started working on a second track, and luckily it come together on the first attempt. So yeah, that was signed. So the first track's called Into the Light, and that's been caned in like DC10 and all over, wherever, London. A lot of the big guys have played it. And the second track's called I Know. And that really takes influence from all the 89 stuff. I mean, to me, it sounds like something that could be made in 1989. It's got that kind of vibe to it. I take a lot of influence from all the old music, all the stuff I grew up on and all that. So that's the EP, and that drops next month in February, I think. I'm waiting for the release date. But I'm excited about that. I've been waiting quite a while. I mean, I made Into the Light back in April. The hype's there, everyone's excited, and yeah.
I'm excited, man. I want to check this out. I want to check this out. Yeah. So, I mean, besides that, you've also got a host of other remixes. You did a remix on Nervous. Yeah, man. What else have you got going on? Come on, tell me.
Yeah, well, I did a remix of a track by a good friend of mine called Clinton Hooker, and he's going to be big. I'm telling you, he's got some wicked music, so he's my tip for next year. And I did a remix for him for Nervous Records, which is obviously, Nervous, a legendary New York label, which I was really privileged to do. And I've done a track for the Lower East compilation called Scaramouche, which...
Yeah, I got that.
You got that, yeah?
Yeah, got that.
Which that one did all right as well, and people seem to like that. And I also did a remix of a track called Dark Arts by a big band from Sheffield, called Starlings, and they contacted me after Spaceship. They were like, we've got this track, we want you to remix it, we like your stuff. I was like, well, I'll give it a go. So I gave it a go, and it did really well. I've got another Lower East EP I'm working on. I've been in the studio today actually, and I'm really excited by it. There's some like different kind of sound coming through now.
Oh, you were talking about that. Okay, we'll keep that under wraps for now. Yeah, but yeah, okay.
Under wraps. But that EP is going to hopefully drop in April or May, and that's going to have 3 tracks on it as well. One of them is called Beverly Hills, which was possibly going to go on the Hot Creations EP, but it's not. So that track, people are screaming for that as well. Hopefully that'll do well. As long as people keep liking my music, I'll keep.
You're going to keep pushing it out, right?
Yeah. Like for me, it's like it's a dream to be able to make music that people like and play, and I'm loving it at the moment. So
yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Oh, thanks, Holmes. No, it's you know it's good. It's good to obviously that you play an instrument and you've developed from that, and also your dad. It's quite touching. Obviously that you said that your dad said that one day you're going to thank me for this. Yeah, that's right. So if you do play a piano at home and your parents actually make you play an instrument, keep at it. Okay, I'm going to flip the script now and ask you a question that I ask everybody from like Richie Hall and Loca Dice. Okay, is that if you were stranded on a desert island and you had to take 3 famous people with you, who would you take and why would you take them?
Oh God, you could have told me about this before, man. 3 famous people. Okay, so firstly, I need a chef of some sort because I love food. I don't really know about chefs, but I'm a famous chef of some sort. What's his name? Gordon Ramsay. He'll do. Yeah, I need someone to cook the food. And then obviously I need a girl there, so I'm gonna have to take some sort of who should we go for? Denise Van Outen in the 90s.
In the 90s. Okay, so if Denise is watching this right now, you can't go right now, but if you was in the 90s, then he would have taken you.
Denise Van Outen in the 90s, Gordon Ramsay, and who else? I'm trying to think. Okay, someone to talk to, some sort of philosopher, or someone interesting I can have conversation with. So, I don't know, one of the famous Greek philosophers, Socrates.
Okay, and so you take Socrates as well.
Yeah, so I can have some interesting conversation. It's no good being on a desert island having no one to talk to but the birds and the bees, right?
You like food, women, and some intellect. Yeah. And that's Alexis Raphael.
Wicked. Nice one, Joe. Thanks for having me here to chat.
It's been lovely. This is Joe the Groove and
Alexis Raphael.
And you've been watching
Guestlist Network. All right, this is Alexis Raphael, and you can catch my EP Into the Light on Hot Creations coming out in February.